Marcus noticed the scar before he noticed her face, not because it was shocking, but because it wasn't hidden. Then she turned, met his eyes, and said quietly, "Eyes are up here." A few people laughed. Marcus didn't, because the way she said it wasn't playful. It was controlled, and control was something he had lost the day his wife stopped breathing. Before we continue, take a quiet second. Tell me where you're listening from in the comments. If this story feels honest to you, a like truly helps. And if you enjoy slow, human stories like this, subscribe and stay with us. Now, let's continue. Marcus came to the beach because it was one of the few places where silence didn't feel suspicious. The ocean was loud enough to cover his thoughts. The wind moved constantly, like it refused to stay trapped in one feeling. He stood near the edge of the shore, barefoot, his jeans rolled just above his ankles, hands tucked into the faded hoodie that had seen better years. His shoulders were broad, but his posture carried weight, the kind that came from holding responsibility too long without relief. A few steps away, his daughter knelt in the sand, completely focused. Emma was 7, thin and serious, her dark hair tied back unevenly. She didn't build castles the way other kids did. She lined shells in careful rows, counting them under her breath. Marcus watched her closely, not because she needed it, but because he did. Watching her was the only time his chest loosened. "Dad," she called softly, "does this look right?" He walked closer and crouched beside her. "It looks like you took your time," he said. "That usually means it's right." She nodded, satisfied, and returned to her work. Marcus stood again and scanned the beach, habitually checking distances, exits, faces. After his wife died, he had learned to measure spaces like threats. Hospitals had done that to him, waiting rooms, long hallways, doors that closed too slowly. That was when he saw her. She stood alone, facing the water, feet planted in the wet sand like she was daring the tide to move her. She wore a simple black swimsuit, nothing designed to draw attention. Her hair was dark and tied loosely at the nape of her neck, and across her shoulder, visible and unprotected, was a scar. Not thin, not dramatic, just present. Marcus found his eyes pulled there before he realized it. She turned. Their eyes locked, not startled, not curious, knowing. "Eyes are up here," she said calmly. A ripple of laughter passed through a nearby group. The beach was full of spectators who never thought they were part of the story. Marcus felt heat rise in his face, but he didn't laugh. He straightened. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. His voice was steady, low. He didn't rush the apology. He meant it. She studied him for a second, then shrugged. "Most people don't apologize." "I wasn't staring because I liked it," Marcus said, then stopped. He wasn't sure why he'd added that. "I know," she replied. "That's why I said something instead of walking away." Emma ran past them toward the water, her laugh cutting through the sound of the waves. Marcus's head snapped in her direction automatically. He watched until Emma reached the shallow surf and stopped. "You're a dad," the woman said. "Yes." "Single?" "Yes." She nodded once as if confirming something. "I'm Clara." "Marcus." They stood side by side, not touching, not moving away. The wind lifted the edge of Clara's towel slightly, then let it fall. "She's careful," Clara said, nodding towards Emma. "She had a mother who taught her how to," Marcus replied before thinking. The words dropped between them, heavy, final. Clara didn't say she was sorry. She didn't tilt her head or soften her voice. She simply breathed out slowly. That kind of loss changes how people look at you, like they're waiting to see if you'll break in public. Marcus swallowed. "They already think I'm broken." "No," she said,
They think you're unfinished. That's worse." Marcus looked at her fully then. Her face was composed, but her eyes carried something familiar, survival without romance. "I fell here 2 years ago," she said, touching the edge of her shoulder. "Slipped on wet rock, surgery, rehab, months of people explaining my body to me like I wasn't inside it." Marcus nodded. "After my wife died, people explained my grief to me, what I should feel, how long it should last. And if you didn't match the timeline," Clara added, "they got uncomfortable." "Yes." Emma tugged his sleeve. "Can we go home now?" Marcus nodded. "Yeah." He turned to Clara. "It was good meeting you." Clara met his eyes. "You looked at the right thing eventually." Marcus walked away with his daughter, the sand heavy under his feet. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. Something had already shifted, and he didn't yet understand how deeply it would undo him.
Marcus did not expect to see Clara again the next morning. Beaches were accidental places. People passed through them like the weather. Still, when he stepped onto the sand with 2 coffees balanced in one hand and Emma tugging at the other, his eyes scanned the shoreline before he told himself not to. "Habit," he said, "nothing more." Clara was there. She sat on a low folding chair near the rocks, a paperback open in her lap, sunglasses pushed into her hair. She wasn't looking at the water this time. She was reading, focused, unavailable. The scar on her shoulder caught the light again, and Marcus felt that same pull, the same quiet alertness he hadn't felt in years. Emma noticed him slow down. "Is that the lady from yesterday?" she asked. "Yes," Marcus said. He hadn't meant to answer so quickly. "Are we allowed to talk to her?" Emma asked. Marcus hesitated. He was used to calculating risk. Social risk was harder than physical. "If she wants to," he said finally. Emma nodded, accepting the rule. She always did. Marcus watched her walk over, small and unafraid in a way adults forgot how to be. "Hi," Emma said, stopping a few feet from Clara. "I'm Emma." Clara looked up, surprised, then smiled. Not wide, real. "Hi, Emma. I'm Clara." "My dad says you live next door. Our porch is broken too." Clara laughed softly. "Then we're officially neighbors." Marcus arrived beside them, setting the coffees down on the sand. "I hope it's okay, she—" "It's fine," Clara said. She asked politely. Emma crouched near Clara's chair. "My mom used to read on the beach too." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. He opened his mouth to redirect, but Clara spoke first. "What did she read?" Emma said. "Old books with yellow pages." Clara nodded. "Those are usually the best ones." Emma smiled, satisfied, and wandered off toward the water again. Marcus exhaled. "She doesn't usually—" "It's okay," Clara repeated. "Kids are better at truth than adults." Marcus picked up one of the coffees and offered it. "I didn't know what you liked." "I like not having to decide," Clara said, taking it. "Thank you." They stood for a moment in parallel silence. The ocean moved. The world continued. "I didn't mean to embarrass you yesterday," Clara said. "You didn't," Marcus replied. "You reminded me I was still visible." She studied him over the rim of the cup. "That's not always a gift." "No," he agreed, "but it's better than disappearing." They sat then, a careful distance apart. Marcus noticed how Clara adjusted her chair slightly, angling it so the sun hit her evenly. Deliberate, adaptive. He recognized the behavior. It was how he positioned Emma's backpack so it didn't pull on one shoulder, how he parked where he could see the exits. "How long have you lived here?" Clara asked. 8 months. "Why here?" Marcus watched Emma digging with her hands. "My wife grew up near water. She said it made her feel less trapped." "And now?" Clara asked. "Now I don't know, but Emma likes it." "That's usually enough," Clara said, echoing his words from the day before. A woman nearby glanced at them, then whispered something to her companion. Marcus noticed. He always noticed. Clara noticed too.
She's staring, Marcus said quietly. Clara shrugged. Let her. The eyes lingered on Clara's shoulder, then on Marcus, then on Emma. Judgment moved like a current, silent, insistent. I get tired of being a lesson, in resilience, in inspiration, in what not to become. Marcus nodded. People treat grief the same way, like it's educational. Or contagious, Clara added. They fell silent again. This one was heavier. You don't talk much, Clara said. I talk when it matters, Marcus replied. What matters to you? She asked. He thought of hospital rooms, of his wife's hand cooling in his, of Emma's breathing at night. Stability, dignity, he said. Clara looked at him, something like respect in her eyes. Those are expensive things. A man approached then, middle-aged, confident in the way men were when they believed the world owed them comfort. Excuse me, he said, smiling at Clara. I couldn't help noticing. No, Clara said calmly. He blinked. I just wanted to... No, she repeated, voice steady. He laughed awkwardly and looked at Marcus. Guess I'm interrupting. You are, Marcus said. The man scoffed. Didn't know she came with a bodyguard. Marcus didn't move. She doesn't, he said. She came with a voice. The man walked away, muttering. The air felt charged. Emma ran back, eyes wide. That man was rude. Yes, Marcus said. He was. Clara watched Marcus carefully. You didn't have to do that. I know, Marcus said. I wanted to. Something shifted then. Not warmth, not comfort. Alignment. They stayed longer than Marcus planned, longer than Clara likely expected. When Emma finally declared herself tired, Marcus gathered their things. See you around, Clara said. Yes, Marcus replied. He meant it. That evening, as Marcus tucked Emma into bed, she looked up at him. Clara is brave, she said. Yes, Marcus replied. Are you brave too? He paused. I'm trying. Emma nodded, satisfied. Marcus lay awake later, staring at the ceiling, feeling something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Not hope, not fear. Possibility. And possibility, he knew, was the most dangerous thing of all.
Marcus did not ask her name right away. He didn't ask because asking would turn the moment into something defined, and he wasn't ready for that. The beach had given him something fragile. He didn't want to press on it too hard. She stood beside him, not close enough to touch, but close enough that he could sense her presence. The wind pulled at her hair. She didn't move to fix it. My name's Leela, she said eventually, like she had decided silence had done its work. Marcus, he replied. He didn't offer his hand, neither did she. That felt right. Emma ran toward them, holding a shell shaped like a spiral. Dad, look, she said, breathless. Marcus knelt. That's a good one, he said. Keep it safe. Emma noticed Leela then. She looked up at her face, then at the scar, then back to her eyes. Children always noticed everything, but Emma didn't stare. Hi, Emma said. Hi, Leela replied, smiling gently. She builds things very carefully, Marcus said, without thinking. That usually means they matter. Emma nodded seriously and ran back to her project. Leela watched her go. She's observant, she said. She learned early, Marcus replied. He didn't explain how. They walked slowly along the shoreline. The water came close to their feet, then pulled away. Marcus felt the old habit in his body, scanning, measuring, staying prepared. He tried to let it go. I live across the street, the blue house with the shutters that never quite close. Marcus knew the one. He'd noticed it before. Empty porch, lights on late, no decorations, quiet. I'm in the apartment above the bakery, the one that smells like sugar every morning. She smiled. That sounds better. It's loud, he said. Deliveries start at 5. They stopped near a cluster of rocks. Leela leaned against one carefully.
Marcus noticed the way she shifted her weight, how deliberate it was. He didn't ask. She didn't explain. "I don't come to the beach much," she said. "People assume things." "What things?" he asked. She looked at him. "That I'm fragile or angry or grateful when they're kind." "And you're none of those?" Marcus asked. "I'm tired, mostly." He understood that. They sat, not touching, close enough to feel the warmth between them. "I used to work in architecture before the accident." Marcus waited. Silence had taught him patience. "A fall, a bad one. After that, everything became about what I couldn't do anymore." "And now?" Marcus asked. "And now I design spaces people never notice. Accessibility plans, ramps, clearances, emergency exits. Things people only think about when they fail." "That sounds important," he said. She shrugged. "It's invisible. That's the point." A group of teenagers walked past them. One of them glanced at Leela's scar, then whispered. Another laughed, not loudly, loud enough. Marcus's jaw tightened. He didn't look at them. Leela noticed anyway. She always did. "It doesn't bother me," she said quickly. Too quickly. Marcus stood. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't make a scene. He simply turned and met their eyes. "Keep walking." Calm, flat. They hesitated. Something in his tone made them listen. They moved on. Leela exhaled slowly. "You didn't have to do that." "I know, but I wanted to." She studied him. "You don't react like most people." "I had to learn not to," he said. Emma ran back, cheeks flushed. "Dad, can we get ice cream?" He smiled. "Yeah, let's do that." He looked at Leela. "You're welcome to join us." She hesitated, just for a second, then nodded. "Okay." The ice cream shop was crowded. Marcus noticed how people looked, how some stared, how others avoided looking at all. Leela kept her head high. A man behind them muttered something under his breath. Marcus heard it. Leela heard it too. Emma didn't. The cashier spoke too loudly when addressing Leela, slowly, carefully, like volume could replace respect. "I'll have vanilla," Leela said evenly. Marcus ordered next. The cashier's tone instantly changed. Marcus noticed. He always noticed. They sat outside on a bench. Emma ate quickly, laughing when it dripped onto her wrist. Leela smiled at her. A real smile this time. "You don't treat me like a problem," Leela said quietly. Marcus shrugged. "I don't see one." She swallowed, looked out at the street. "My marriage ended after the accident," she said, not loudly, not cruelly, just quietly. "Those are the hardest endings," Marcus said. She nodded. They walked back toward their buildings as the sun dipped lower. At the corner, they stopped. "This is me," Leela said. "This is us," he replied. She smiled. "I'd like to see you again." "So would I," he said. That surprised them both. That night, Marcus lay awake listening to the bakery downstairs prepare for morning. Emma slept curled toward the wall. The apartment felt different, not fuller, just less heavy. Across the street, Leela sat at her desk sketching a ramp she'd redesign tomorrow. She paused, thought about the man on the beach who hadn't looked away. Neither of them called it hope, but something had shifted. And neither of them knew yet how much it would cost to protect it.
Marcus didn't tell anyone about Lila. Not his co-workers at the shipping yard, not the parents he nodded to at Emma's school. Not even Emma, who noticed everything and said nothing unless it mattered. He wasn't hiding her. He was protecting something that hadn't decided what it was yet. They started with mornings, coffee at the bakery downstairs. Lila would arrive just after 7, always with a notebook tucked under her arm. Marcus learned she liked the corner table because it let her see the door and the street at the same time. Control again.
He understood that. They talked about small things at first: weather, construction noise, Emma's obsession with building cities out of cardboard. Lila listened like it mattered, because to her it did. One morning, a woman at the next table leaned over and asked Lila if she needed help carrying her cup. Lila smiled and said no. The woman insisted anyway. Marcus watched Lila's jaw tighten just slightly. "I'm okay," Lila said, again, firmer. The woman looked embarrassed, then annoyed, then she turned away. Marcus said nothing. He didn't rush in to rescue. He let Lila hold her ground. Afterward, she looked at him. "Thank you." "For what?" he asked. "For not making it worse." They walked Emma to school together once, just once. It felt like crossing a line they hadn't named yet. Parents stared, some with curiosity, some with judgment. One man whispered something Marcus didn't catch. Lila did. At pickup, the principal asked to speak with Marcus privately. Her smile was polite, tight. "There have been concerns," she said, "about Emma's environment." Marcus listened, calm, grounded. "Concerns from who?" he asked. The principal hesitated. "Other parents." "About what?" Marcus asked. "About exposure," she said carefully. "Children can be sensitive." Marcus nodded slowly. "So can adults." The principal cleared her throat. "We just want what's best for Emma." "So do I, and this conversation isn't it." That night, Marcus told Lila, not dramatically, just the facts. She went quiet, that kind of quiet that meant she's bracing for something she'd seen before. "I'll step back," she said, finally. "I don't want to cause problems." "You're not a problem," Marcus said. "That's not how the world works," she replied. Marcus didn't argue. He didn't try to convince her. He just said, "Let me handle it." The next day he requested a meeting. Parents, principal, counselor, anyone who had concerns could come. They came. They sat in a circle of folding chairs. Marcus stood. "My daughter is kind. She's observant. She's learning how to see people as they are. If that makes anyone uncomfortable, that's not her issue to fix." A woman spoke up. "Children ask questions." "They should," Marcus replied. "That's how they learn not to be cruel." Silence followed. Not agreement, but no one pushed back. Emma squeezed his hand afterwards. "You were brave," she said. Marcus smiled. "So are you." Lila didn't come by for 2 days. Marcus didn't chase. He waited. On the third evening, there was a knock at his door. "I brought soup in case waiting made you hungry." He stepped aside. She entered, carefully, like she was learning the space. Emma showed her the cardboard city. Lila knelt, asking questions, making suggestions, not fixing, collaborating. Marcus watched from the kitchen. Something in his chest loosened. Later, after Emma went to bed, they sat on the couch, not touching, close enough. "I don't want to be your burden," she said. "You're not," Marcus replied. "I've been that before, to people who swore they didn't mind." Marcus looked at her. "I mind dishonesty. I mind pity. I don't mind you." She studied his face, looking for cracks, found none. They kissed, soft, careful, like an agreement more than a spark. The backlash came quietly. A coworker joked about Marcus playing hero. A neighbor stopped waving. Someone left an anonymous note on Lila's porch. Nothing threatening, just cruel. Marcus found it before she did. He threw it away. But the real test came when Lila's firm invited her to present a redesign proposal. Public, high profile, accessible housing. The room was full. Suits, polite applause, skeptical eyes. She rolled to the podium, hands steady. Halfway, a man interrupted. Isn't this more emotional than practical? Lila paused, looked at him. Accessibility isn't emotional, it's structural. If your building can't support real bodies, it's a failure. Applause followed, real this time. Marcus watched from the back. Pride wasn't loud, it was solid. Afterward, a reporter asked Marcus how it felt to support such courage. He corrected her. I don't support it, I respect it. That night they stood on the beach again, wind low, water calm. I'm scared, Lila said. So am I, Marcus replied. Good, she said. That means it matters. He took her hand fully this time, not because the world had become kinder, but because they had decided not to shrink for it. And for the first time, Marcus understood something clearly. Love wasn't protection, it was partnership, and it was about to be tested.
The test didn't arrive like a storm. It came quietly, the way most real consequences did. Marcus found out on a Tuesday afternoon, standing in the shipping yard office with grease on his hands and paperwork on the desk. The supervisor didn't look uncomfortable. That bothered him more than anger would have. They're restructuring, the man said. Your position's being eliminated. Marcus nodded once. He'd expected this for months. He'd learned to read signs early. Silence before bad news. Politeness instead of honesty. What about severance? Marcus asked. 2 weeks, the supervisor said. I'm sorry. Marcus wasn't angry. He was tired. That evening, he told Emma first. He always did. She sat at the kitchen table, swinging her legs, listening carefully. Does that mean you won't go to work tomorrow? She asked. Not that job, but I'll find another. She nodded. Okay. Children trusted what they were shown. Marcus made sure she saw calm. He told Leela later. She didn't interrupt. She didn't panic. She didn't offer solutions that weren't hers to give. Do you want help? She asked. Marcus hesitated. Old instincts rose. Pride, fear, memory. I want honesty, he said. Then here it is, Leela replied. I can help, but I won't rescue. I won't become your safety net. I need us to stay equal. Marcus breathed out slowly. That's all I want. The next week tested everything. Interviews that went nowhere. Recruiters who smiled too much. One manager who suggested Marcus might be too distracted as a single father. Another who glanced at Leela waiting outside and said nothing, but meant everything. Emma heard whispers at school again. One child asked if her dad was poor now. Emma told Marcus that night. He listened. He didn't rush to fix it. What did you say? Emma asked. Emma thought. I said, we're okay. He hugged her. You were right. The invitation came unexpectedly, a city council forum on housing access. Leela was asked to speak. Marcus was asked to attend, publicly. You don't have to, she told him. I want to, he said. The room was full. Officials, journalists, observers. The same kind of polite power Marcus had learned not to trust. Leela spoke clearly, calmly, without asking permission. She talked about design failures, about dignity, about how cities revealed who they valued by what they ignored. Then a councilman asked, do you think personal experience clouds professional judgment? Leela smiled, not defensively, precisely. I think ignoring lived experience creates bad policy, she said. Buildings don't serve ideals, they serve people. Applause followed, measured, real. Afterward, a woman approached Marcus, mid-50s, sharp eyes, direct posture. I'm hiring, operations, community development. Marcus listened, asked questions, didn't sell himself, didn't apologize for his life. 2 weeks later, he signed the offer. It wasn't more money,
It was better work. Emma celebrated with boxed pizza. Leela brought dessert. They didn't move in together right away. They didn't rush. They learned each other's rhythms, where silence was needed, where honesty mattered more than comfort. The world didn't soften. People still stared, still assumed, still whispered. But Marcus noticed something else. They stopped shrinking. At school, Emma raised her hand more. At work, Marcus spoke when it mattered. At meetings, Leela corrected people without explanation. They became visible without asking to be seen. One evening, months later, they sat on the beach again. The same place, different season. Emma ran ahead, older now, louder, confident. Leela leaned back on her hands. "I used to think standing meant never sitting down," she said. "I was wrong." Marcus smiled. "I used to think protection meant control." They watched the water move, unconcerned, patient. "Are you happy?" Leela asked. Marcus thought, not the way he used to, not in absolutes. "Yes," he said, "and scared." "Good," she replied. "So am I." She rested her head against his shoulder, not because she needed support, because she chose it. Emma ran back, breathless. "Can we stay longer?" Marcus looked at Leela. She smiled. "Yes." They stayed. And nothing dramatic happened. No speeches, no apologies, no grand victory. Just people who had learned something difficult. That dignity doesn't come from strength alone. It comes from refusing to disappear. Years later, someone would tell their story wrong. They always did. They'd say Marcus saved Leela, or that Leela gave Marcus purpose, or that love fixed everything. None of that was true. What actually happened was quieter. Two people met at the edge of their limits. They didn't ask to be carried. They didn't ask to be admired. They asked to be seen. And they stayed. That was enough.